One of the inmates who escaped from the Orleans Justice Center sentenced today to 60 years without parole for kidnapping and rape. Antoine Massey was sentenced today. He was convicted in December of kidnapping and raping his former girlfriend in 2024. Massey was one of the 9 other inmates who escaped from the Orleans Justice Center last May. He was later recaptured in Holly Grove.